Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Spice and Wolves episode number 6 reaction. So the previous episode, it was the episode where we made a plan and went and rescued Hollow. But before that, a lot of things we had to think about. Obviously, Lawrence had the conversation with Riften and they came up with the plan that what they're going to do is, kind of make the transaction with the king first. And if we get involved with the king, Meteor Trading Group won't be able to do anything that will bring our name down, because if something brings our name down, it will drag the king along with us. So to do that, we need to do the transaction with the king first. And while we are doing that, we need to go and save Hollow at the same time as well. And the whatever the king is going to give us in return for the trainee situation, we can offer that to the Meteor Trading Company, which will make them give us Hollow back, because obviously they cannot bring us down, because the king will go down as well and they'll be in trouble. So there's only one thing left for them to do, that is take our deal and make profit in that way. So that was the whole plan, and we were able to do it. We were able to save Hollow. Also, later on we get to know that Yare is involved in this, and Hollow told Lawrence about the whole situation, how Yare came here, came there, and Hollow said that she was happy that the villagers, and Yare, they remembered her. But at the same time, what Yare said next was something that she didn't obviously appreciate. He said something like, "Oh, we don't need your help anymore. We can do everything on our own. It's over for you," and stuff like that. Right. Either way, but Lawrence was like, "Look at the positive part of this. That means nothing is shackling you down. You can go back to your homeland." Right, and all that stuff happened. So I'm guessing for now we have to keep running, unless and until the whole deal with the king pulls through. So yeah, let's see what happens in today's episode. This is episode 6. Let's begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Is there someone here? Oh, we're underneath the, yeah. Water. Is someone coming? Oh my god. Oh, the pursuers. We saw them in the previous episode. Oh lord. They'll try to prevent us from getting out of here. Behind. What happened? Oh no. Oh, is she going to scream like, like the sound? She's going to howl. Obviously, it's going to intimidate the dogs. She's. Supposed to be a wolf. Yep. Yep. Damn. Apples. Alright, let's, yeah, get out of here first. Yeah, merchant and unreasonable god. Really? I don't know. Hmm. Oh, what? No, that's a lie. I don't think so. Really? Bruh. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I don't think so. Okay. Oh no, this is bad. Is there someone there? Oh no. Oh my god. Okay. Guys, keep moving. Yeah. Oh my god. Bro, shut up. Don't. Imagine saying that after literally stabbing someone, you little piece of. What an absolute. Imagine stabbing someone and being like, oh God, forgive me for what. Shut the hell up. God damn. Where did he get stabbed? Was it somewhere vital? And the blood is like, oh God. He's, yeah, blood loss. Oh boy, not good. Where did he get stabbed? Hand? I think. Oh yeah, yeah, hand. Smell like. Hmm. Damn, his eyes have sunken completely. Oh no, I feel like there's someone probably waiting outside. Oh no. Yeah, oh God. Wait. Oh no, wait, there's no. What? How do we get up? Oh boy, now what? Oh, who's this? Yare. Oh boy. Count and not. Ah, I see. Hmm. Uh, well, well, now you're trying to bring him to your. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. There's an exception to everything, you know. Oh, and that as well. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a part of the thing. Oh, what? Oh, wait. Oh, she. Oh, yeah, she said like blood. I remember. Blood or wheat. She did say, didn't she, in the first episode? That'll help her transform? Yeah, well, you guys are screwed now. Yeah, she's transforming. Damn. Oh my. Oh, oh my god, she's gonna break the whole place. Oh no, no, okay, it's oh yeah, well, that's it. Okay, guys. Oh, a few people are running. Oh, everyone's running now. Yeah, you idiot. Oh my god. Well, everyone's getting admitted to the hospital. Tail whip or whatever. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Broken bones, concussions. No, she's back. Yeah, what were you saying a few moments ago? Yeah, just whack him away. Yeah, I'm sure she was just going to intimidate him. I doubt she was going to. Wait, what? Oh, okay. For a moment, I thought, wait, did she really like eat him or something? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Lawrence has a. Oh, it's oh no, she's leaving. Oh boy, and he's bleeding out as well. Okay, who saved him? Was it Richten? Otherwise, who else will even? It is Richten, isn't it? Yeah. So she, where is she? She left. Oh wait, so he saw her? Yeah. Yeah, he saw her. Oh. Oh boy. Wait, yeah. An entire day. Yeah, what about the whole thing with the king? Okay. Right. That's a lot. Another currency worth. Okay. That's a lot. And okay. 50%, yeah. Okay. Yeah. 120 silver coin. Wait, oh. Oh, oh my god. Bruh. Great. That is insane. Wow. This, the king, he scammed. Oh my god. Bro, with as from that to this. However, what's that? Mediator was quite desperate for this privilege. Did they pay us? Okay, yeah, like I said, so they paid us. Equivalent value. Pepper. Huh. Oh, okay, okay. Merchant to the bone. Lay. Hmm. Oh my god. Yeah. Invoice. What? Oh, is it? Oh no. Is it hollows? No, wait, what? Oh, wait, 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 wait. Is hollow inside there? No, wait. Yeah, it's her, isn't it? Hello? You're shirtless. Oh, so she bought it. Okay. And sent the bill to him. Right. Yeah. Okay. Listen, Wolf. Okay. Right. So I now understand why the name of the show is Spice and Wolf, because as Riften says, the story, he says like, "Oh, I wish that, I hope that one day you'll be that one person who like gives off the, like, and the whole story that she said." So that's why Spice is Lawrence and obviously Holo is Wolf. So Spice and Wolf. Okay. Okay. That was that. Okay. Okay, I'm back, guys. I had to go for a moment to get a little bit of a haircut, and that's why I had to pause. Now I'm back, and okay, I'm ready to do my discussion. So, today's episode was basically them getting out of this whole messy situation, and yeah, they were in quite a bit of danger, especially towards the end after Lawrence gets stabbed, and like Hollow kind of taking her wolf form to scare off the guys who came to attack them. And in the end, everything goes well, and it seemed like Hollow left, but then the final few words that Lawrence said before she went unconscious, that, oh, like, you don't you dare go away, you have to pay back for the money that I spent on you to get your dress and everything. So yeah, that made her stay. Obviously, she herself didn't want to go, but she probably decided to leave at that point of time because she saw how Lawrence was scared. Like, this was another thing that we saw in the very first episode, where after showing her true form, Lawrence gets scared, obviously because of Lawrence's own trauma. So yeah, like, seeing that, she probably felt hurt, and that is why she maybe thought, like, oh, it's all because of me, like, because he's here with me, that is why I'm just dragging him into my own trouble. That's probably why she maybe at that point of time thought that she needs to leave. But when Lawrence said that, and when she saw Lawrence, even though she was so scared, still trying to make her stop and come back, maybe that made her rethink. And yeah, she decided to stay because, after Lawrence goes unconscious, we get to know from the other people that she actually came back and stayed there up until people came and helped him out, because Lawrence was unconscious completely. So when Richter came in and like saved him, she was still there. And then even after he was brought back and nursed to health, Hollow still stayed with him. And then one day ago, before he came into consciousness, she left. So yeah, I'm sure she probably changed her mind, even though I think her initial idea was to leave. Uh, Probably because Lawrence told her to stop and not go. Because it is true. Like even though he is so scared, he did gather up his whole courage to try to make Hollow stop. Maybe that's what moved her by the end of it, and she decided to stay up until the end. As she says, like, unless and until my journey comes to an end, I'll accompany you up till the end. Something like that, she says. So yeah, I guess all well. No, what all's no, all's well that ends well. Yeah, for a moment I forgot the saying. So yeah, everything ended up being okay by the end of it. But the whole thing with Yare was, I don't know what to feel about the whole thing, because technically, if you think about it, you know, they are merchants, both Lawrence and Yare, and Yare did give him a choice that, oh, you either go against me, then I'll have to kill you, or you join me and let's bring Hollow to the church. And he and Lawrence decided to stand his ground and say that, no, I've already promised Hollow that I'll accompany her up until the end, and I aim on doing that exactly. So Yare did give him a choice, and in the end, so at the end of the day, even though that whole scene was obviously like, what Yare did was, yeah, but I cannot really like criticize him, because at the end of the day, he he was tasked in doing that, and he had to do that, I guess. So I'm not really that much angry at him. I feel like it's just, yeah, like, but obviously it did feel nice to see him getting what he deserved. But I'm not particularly that much, like, yeah, like, I'm not really that angry at him or anything, like, I guess he was just doing what he had to do. And and yeah, but like I said, it still did. He ended up by the ending, it did feel nice to see him getting completely defeated, utterly. So yeah, it's a complicated feeling. That's what I'm trying to say. You know. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to Yare from here now, whether we'll see him or not, or this is the end of him. We don't get to see him. Let's wait and see. But even if we get to meet him in the future, I doubt it'll be anything like, because Lawrence and Yare's relationship now is completely just, yeah, like it's a messy thing, like, so yeah, like even if they meet each other by the end, I don't think it'll be like any type of, so I feel like there's a big possibility that this might be the end of him, like not end of him in that sense, but end of him meaning like we might not get to see him from here onwards. But who knows? Maybe we'll see him in the future. Let's wait and see. Either way, also another thing I wanted to talk about is that, the reason, I feel like the reason why I don't really feel that angry or that much of a grudge against Yare is because, like, I'm just thinking of, putting myself in his shoes and thinking about the whole situation from his viewpoint, which is that, as he says, that hollow is a type of like hollow, and all the like these type of supernatural deities and stuff, they are things which, as he says, there's a particular word he says, which is that it's always, what does he say? Oh, it's not fair, something like that he says, like all the time, like this is how it ends, it's not fair, he says something like that. So I don't know, I just, like, yeah, what he was doing obviously wasn't nice, but at the same time, I feel like this is the type of thing where, like people kind of lash out at stuff that they don't understand or that they have no clue about. Like Yare, and not only him, but everyone in the village, they have no clue about what type of a being Hollow is, what her feeling is, this and that. Hollow is something of an enigma to everyone, which is very evident because, if you remember, Hollow herself mentioned that back when people remembered her, they were very friendly with her, and she was also very friendly with them. They like lived like a family or something like that. But then little by little, people started forgetting her, and she became more of an enigma, a holy deity that, like that kind of thing, a mystery. And as soon as that happens, people starts getting afraid, and that is why, like people lash out at things which are unknown to them, and then that they have, that they know nothing about, they kind of become hostile towards it. And here, especially in this type of situation, as we can see from, and as we can understand from Yare's words, Yare and the villagers were afraid of Hollow, not in that sense, but afraid of the fact that they are always dependent on her, and the fact that, like the harvest that comes and goes, sometimes is good, sometimes is bad, as he says, like, after we bring you to the church, we will be moving on to a new era, like we won't be at the whims of someone like you, so that kind of thing, like he's afraid, and so are the villagers. That is why they decided to just, like just lash out against Hollow. But unfortunately, Hollow has there's nothing Hollow can do. Hollow tried her best to help everyone out, and she stayed in that place because of that promise. So it's a bit sad, thinking about the whole situation from Hollow's perspective. But at the same time, like Yare and the other villagers, I feel like they were just acting like this in such a hostile way, just because they have no idea of what is actually going on and what type of being Hollow is. Like they lash out at the unknown, lash out at something that they don't understand themselves, and try to just weed it out. That's what they're trying to do at that time. So yeah, that is why I feel like all in all, like overall, yeah, I particularly don't have any type of hatred towards Yare, but at the same time, what he did in today's episode was also not commendable. So I'm like in a very neutral standpoint on Yare. It's yeah, he's just, yeah, I don't really particularly feel much about him. So yeah, I think that's my whole viewpoint on Yari. I feel like there'll be a lot of people who will, after watching this episode and all the other episodes, there's a lot of people who will be watching this show might like hate him or be like, oh, he's a nasty person, this and that. But me personally, like thinking about it from his standpoint, he's just a guy who was afraid of someone who he knows nothing about, that is Hollow, and tried in his own way, obviously in this bad, using these type of methods, like not so good methods, he tried to take out Hollow from the equation, and he thought maybe we will be independent, because he and the other villagers were getting crushed underneath someone who they know nothing about, that is Hollow. They were probably always fearing about whether Hollow is going to make the harvest good or not, whether the harvest will be bad or something like that. They were always under that pressure. So this was their way of trying to like struggle and get out of it. And in that process, they did something bad like this. That is what I think. So that is why I feel like, yeah, I don't really feel much about them. I'm just completely neutral on these guys, the Yare, and as well as that village. And I'm sure Hollow feels the same as well. I doubt Hollow feels any type of hatred or anymore. Yeah, she might feel hatred towards them just because they attacked Lawrence. That might be a reason why she feels hatred for them, because they literally stabbed him. So yeah, that wasn't something good. So for that, I feel like Hollow might hate them. But for the fact that they tried to attack her or bring her to the church, I don't think Hollow bears any type of hatred for that reason. Because I'm sure she also understands that they're afraid. That's what it is. And since they're afraid, they tried to attack Hollow and lash out at her and bring her to the church, this and that. So, anyways, that's just how I think about it. Let me know what do you think about it, because I'm just completely neutral on Yare. I really don't have any type of hatred or anything else about him. I'm just like, yeah, it's whatever. But either way, that was that, and Hollow turned into the wolf today, and she did that by using the blood. Now here's one thing I do wonder. Oh, I see. So yeah, okay. If you remember the very first episode, Hollow said something like, "There's two ways for me to turn into a wolf. One is to take blood, or the second is to, if you give me wheat." So I'm guessing they didn't have wheat with them. The only wheat they had with them is the one that Hollow has in the, like the little pouch thing. So I'm guessing that is why, she had to take Lawrence's blood to transform. Is that why? I'm guessing something like that. Because there wasn't any other choice. At that point, she had to transform. Otherwise, they all would have just, yeah, it would have been over for them. Anyways, right, and there you go. She transformed, she drove them away, and obviously she didn't kill them. She kind of like knocked them out and everything. I doubt she would have done anything to them. It did seem like she was going to eat Yare at the end, but I doubt she was going to do that. She was probably just going to scare him, and that's, as we saw, he just she just kind of, yeah. And then there you go. In the end, Lawrence thought that she left, but then when he gets the invoice, he's like, oh, it's her. She's there. And she literally brought like a cart of apples and sent the bill to Lawrence. That was her way of telling him that, oh, I'm still here, come quickly. Something like that. I don't know. Oh boy. Right. But yeah, the journey continues, So there you go. And yeah, that was today's episode. Oh, another thing I need to discuss. I'm going to read this part, the whole Spice and Wolf part. So he tells a story to Lawrence, Richten. I'm just going to read the story. It's a religious play that the church uses to preach about moderation to trading companies. Okay. A devil appears before an extremely rich merchant and says to him, "Bring me the most delicious human in the land, or I will eat you instead." Okay. Fearing for his life, he brings a young maidservant, a fat servant, before the devil. The devil shakes his head. Okay. He searches all over town for a delicious human. Finally, he finds a boy finds a boy who smells of honey and milk. He offers that boy immediately to the devil, but the boy says to the devil, the most delicious human is before your very eyes. This man before you seasons his fat laden soul abundantly with spices day after day. Okay, so the man before you seasons his fat laden soul abundantly with spices day after day. Right. So interesting. And Lawrence was like, what? Richter is like, sorry, I couldn't help it. I imagined you earning money using pepper, Mr. Lawrence. I would love to be laden with spices as soon as possible. So yeah, so that's what she was basically. So, like, as that boy said, that this man here, his soul is fat laden with the spices that he put. Yeah, so I see. Like, I feel like this is probably something like some kind of a witty humor that a little bit of it is probably going over my head. I think I understand what, like the whole humor to this whole thing, but I'm not really 100% sure. But either way, one thing I can understand here is that Richten is comparing Lawrence to, or Lawrence, as Lawrence is saying, like, yeah, I would love to be laden with spices as soon as possible. Like, so basically he's comparing Lawrence's soul as a merchant and something, like to be that person like laden with like spices and so much that it comes off, like it's something like that. I obviously like Richter is like comparing him to that guy in the story. And this brings to the ending scene where she Richten says spice and wolf. Where is that part? Okay, where is it? Yeah, spice and wolf, is it? When Lawrence is shaking hands with Hollow. So obviously spice is denoting Lawrence and wolf is obviously denoting Horror. So yeah, I think that's it. Like, because Lawrence is a merchant, spice, and Hollow's a wolf, that's why. Is that it? Like I said, that's what I understood. If there's a better, if you have a better way of like explaining that part, like, I'm sure it's like some kind of a witty wordplay or like a witty humor, but that is what I got from it. If there's something else to it, let me know in the comments, which maybe I'm not understanding. Either way, there you go. That was today's episode. Great episode, and that was good conclusion to this whole guessing arc. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. All right. Now let me talk about this episode scene by scene. Let me see if I missed something. The very first scene, we get to see Lawrence and Hollow running, underneath in the sewers, and they come to a place where Hollow's like, wait, she's getting like a hearing something. The air has changed a little bit, so obviously they are underneath the marketplace. But Hollow's like, no, that's not what I'm feeling, but something else is happening. There's pursuers. So the pursuers drop in and they send dogs, hunting dogs towards them. And obviously Hollow is here, and you're sending dogs in a territory which is like being controlled by a wolf, that is Hollow. So in front of Hollow, the dogs are nothing. So Hollow just growls, and she tells like Lawrence to like close his ears, because obviously the howl otherwise probably would have shattered his eardrum. So she growls, and the dogs run. Right. And taking that opportunity, they rush off to get out of this place. So they're running underneath in the sewers. And Hollow kind of says, like, after screaming, she was like, oh, I want to eat apples. Anyways, so they move forward, and one guy kind of comes in front of them, and Hollow kind of like attacks him. Lawrence also like gives him 1 or 2 punches, but then comes in this dude here, who comes and stabs him, and he's like, God, please forgive my sins. And I'm like, shut the hell up. What are you saying? Like you're stabbing Lawrence, and at the same time in the same with the same mouth you're saying that thing. Like I can understand, obviously, like these are people from the older days. Seeing someone like Hollow, they're afraid. I can understand that. Like they think she's some kind of a devil or a demon, or someone possessed by a demon or something like that, and that is why they want to like give her to the church or something. But like he attacked Lawrence, and that's after doing that he says, I can understand, but still it didn't sit well with me that he literally just after stabbing him, he says something like this, like, God, please forgive my sins. Like, bro, shut up. No, you did this. Why are you saying that just after so he knows that he's doing something wrong, and that's why he's saying that. So anyways, it didn't sit well with me. Like immediately after stabbing him, he literally says this, and I'm like, shut the hell up. Like I can understand you're afraid of Hollow and all that stuff, but still. Anyways, so yeah, thank God Lawrence got stabbed in his arms. Hope it wasn't like his stomach or something. That would have been dangerous then. And here's the thing, like I feel like the tension is like so high over here, because if you think about it, yeah, Hollow might be strong if she takes on her wolf form, but she's no like she's not someone who could, like if Lawrence actually gets stabbed like in a very bad way, and if it's actually danger to his life, I doubt Hollow would be able to do anything. And that is what brings the tension to its peak, because if anything happens to Lawrence, it will be irreversible. Hollow might be strong, but if Lawrence gets stabbed or if something happens to him, I doubt Hollow would be able to do anything to help him out. Especially in a situation like this where they're literally in the sewers and there's like so many enemies. So that is why like the tension is kind of high. Either way, so Lawrence obviously got stabbed and he's like bleeding out, and Hollow's like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, it's fine, no problem. And they keep moving forward, but you can see Lawrence is just losing consciousness almost. It became so bad that for a moment I think he blacked out, and then when he opened his eyes, he saw that Hollow's like calling his name, and he's like, oh, what's happening? Where am I? And he sees that there's like a bandit, and he's like, oh, who did this? So he forgot the fact that Hollow probably bandaged him up. Like that's how much he's like going and coming because of the blood loss. Obviously it's not a fatal wound, but blood loss is going to affect you, and if it keeps happening, you might die. If it goes to a certain degree. So he's losing all strength and everything, and he cannot keep his eyes open, but he still like moves forward. And Hollow's like, I know where to go, come with me, because she can kind of hear and feel the wind. She's a wolf, she's sensitive to all of that. So she moves forward and comes to the place, and both of them realizes that yeah, it is a way out, but it's a well, and it has no way to go out. So it's like literally like an open hole on top of them, and you cannot go there because there's no ladder or nothing. So it's a bit difficult. And it was kind of a dead end, so the people come in and they surround them, literally cornering them. So Lawrence is like, stand back, Hollow, like let me take care of this. And Hollow's like, no, I know you're lying, it's pretty obvious, like you're in no situation to fight. But anyways, in comes Yare, and like I said, yeah, like I said, I don't really feel nothing much about Yare. I don't really hate him or anything, but obviously what he was doing was wrong. But at the same time, it's pretty obvious that like he was so afraid of Hollow, and not only him but the villagers, that this was their way of trying to break free of Hollow. So he was trying to bring Hollow to the church, and by that, he and the villagers would be like, oh, now we have broken free from Hollow. Everything will be okay now. Because they blame Hollow for the bad harvest. They think that it's because of Hollow's anger or something the harvest comes bad or something like that, he said. But I remember Hollow saying in one of the previous episodes, it's not because of that, but because of basically like the soil, like that whole thing. That's why sometimes, the harvest comes, bad or something. So it's not really her fault. But even if she tells that to them, they won't believe her. So they think that it's Hollow doing all of these things. And that's why they're afraid. And every single day, like, just think about it from their perspective. Like, they're like in the village, just a village where their main profession is obviously farming and like stuff like that. So your main livelihood is farming, and every single day you're just there thinking that, oh no, if Hollow gets angry, if the harvest is bad, then we're screwed, because that's literally their livelihood. 1 year the harvest goes bad, oh god, it's over. It's like a lot of pain. So that's literally what is going through their heads every single day. So they're desperate to find a way to pin the fact that there's a bad harvest, to pin that on something, and that's something they have a good person in front of them to pin that on, that is Hollow. So that's why they blame Hollow. They're like, oh, bad harvest, Hollow's fault. And that is why, in their own way, they thought that, oh, if we're able to bring Hollow out of the equation and send her to the church, everything will be okay. That's what they think. But that's not how it works. Some years you'll get good harvest, some years you won't. It's not because of Hollow, but they don't understand that. And obviously, they're too afraid, and and that is why. That's literally what is happening. Like, they think that it's Hollow's fault, and that's what's happening. So if you think about it like that, I don't really feel that much, like angry about his actions, because at the end of the day, he and the villagers, in their own twisted way and delusional way, they were trying to survive. So something like that. But obviously, like, what he was doing was obviously wrong. So I did feel better when he got whacked away by Hollow in her wolf form. She like whacks him away and all the others. So that was kind of like well deserved, I guess. But either way, yeah. So Yare comes in, and Yare's like talks to Lawrence, and at first Yare was like, you know what, you're my good friend, like, let's just come with me. And he tells Lawrence all the benefits that will come out of this, like if they send Hollow over to the church, like, he's like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to read this. They talk about like tariffs and like taxes and stuff, all that stuff he talks about. I'm just going to read that to get a better understanding. Okay, here we go. Lawrence says, Count Arndot is the one behind Medio Trading. Arndot, yeah. Large wheat producing land can receive payment in any kind of silver coin they like in their dealings. On top of that, tariff exemptions on wheat would be a great blessing to the Count, Medio Trading, and the villagers. Yeah, you're acquainted with all the merchants that come to trade, and the chief leaves all the business dealings to you, and the trade of wheat is most abundant right after the harvest festival. Yeah, so he's basically like, so that is why you're, like, involved with this. And he's like, yeah, like, we'll talk about this later. We don't have much time. Okay, so then he brings up the whole thing about like, oh, I can't believe you're her companion. Okay, hand her over. We will hand her over to the church. Here we go, and say goodbye to the old era. So they're thinking like this is the way of getting out of Hollow's wrath or whatever, like they're like, oh, we're going to break out of the old era, the old traditions and everything. Everything will be fine as soon as we do that. Because obviously they're afraid. Up until now, they're just afraid of Hollow, because they think that it's because of Hollow's whims they don't get good harvest and stuff like that. We'll be able to crush Milone Trading if we hand her over. On top of that, if we can remove the tariffs on wheat, our village will gain an enormous amount of profit. Villagers will all be prosperous. And then he also says, the same goes for merchants that buy our wheat. And he says, like, you know what, you're my good friend, because, you were the only one who brought wheat from us. Even though we had like so much trouble with the whole thing, like taxation and stuff. Hey, because the villagers are all grateful that you bought our wheat when we're suffering under heavy taxation. So he's like, yeah, you're more than welcome to join us. It'll be easy for you to obtain priority in buying our wheat. So obviously he's going through like the, like from the merchant's perspective, like as Lawrence says, profit and loss. That's what merchants look at. Basically, that's the direction that Yari was going with. He's like, yeah, if you do this, you will also benefit. So there you go. And he's like, we've been friends for a long time, haven't we? You'll be able to obtain the store of your dreams. Now, I feel like Hollow was a little bit afraid here because, because of all of these things that he was saying. She thought that maybe Lawrence was going to take up on the deal. But Lawrence was like, you know what? It's all well and good, but I keep my promises. I promised her that I'll take her to her home, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, and he's like, all right, then unfortunately, I also have a promise to maintain. That is, my task is to take care of this situation. So he says goodbye to Lawrence, and he tells him like, oh, kill the man if you want to keep the woman alive. We'll need to take her to the church. So there you go. That was the whole thing. And okay, so here Lawrence tries to defend Hollow, but Hollow takes the knife and throws it down. Then she's like, don't look at me, and crouches down, gets a little bit of his blood, transforms or starts transforming into a wolf. And she's big and huge. For a moment I actually thought she was going to break the whole place or something. The whole place will come collapsing down because she's so big. She isn't that big though, but she's still very big size. So yeah, and she becomes the wolf, and everyone is like, what the hell? Immediately they start running. There was one dude who was a bit too brave. He was like, oh no, you don't go anywhere, and brings his club, tries to attack Hollow, but Hollow just whacks it aside, and then completely just moves Yare aside and starts chasing all the other people, starts whacking them left and right. Everyone goes unconscious or falls down. And there you go. In the end, she comes towards Yare and, sizing him up, looking at him, just doing this and that. And Yare is like, here we go. And this is what I'm saying. This statement shows how much afraid he was of Hollow up until now. So that's why I just don't feel any type of hatred for him. I just feel that the decision that he took was an unfortunate decision. And yeah, so this statement that he says is like, the gods are always the same. They are always so unfair. Yeah, so this statement is pretty obvious, and it tells us that how much afraid he was and the villagers are of Hollow. And they are thinking that they're always at the Hollow and the gods' mercy. That's why this was their way of rebelling against it and trying to break free of it. But obviously, it wouldn't have worked out. It wasn't really Hollow's fault that the harvests are bad. That's just nature. Something like that. Either way, it seemed like Hollow was going to eat him or something, but Lawrence is like, stop, and Hollow doesn't really eat him, just grabs him and just shakes him around and throws him down. And then he comes towards Lawrence, and you can see that Lawrence is afraid. Obviously, his trauma, And then she kind of takes a little pouch, and she's leaving, and Lawrence immediately realizes that she's leaving, and he's like, stop, don't go. He's like, who's going to pay for the dress that I bought you? You've only paid us a little bit of it. The full money I want. So don't go anywhere. You have to pay off your debt to me. Obviously, that was his way of trying to stop her, because Hollow is very dutiful, and he thought that she was going to stop if he says something like that. And I'm sure it did work, because I'm sure Hollow realized that this was Lawrence's way of trying to stop her, and he didn't have any other method to do it. And I'm sure Hollow also realized that even though Lawrence is so afraid of her because of her wolf form, and probably because of his past experiences, he was still trying to stop her, which in itself is something I'm sure that moved Hollow a little bit. And she felt grateful for the fact that even though he was afraid, he was trying his best to stop her from going. Anyways, she kind of like moves away, and Lawrence goes unconscious, and then he wakes up. We see like Richten is there in front of him, and he's like, oh yeah, and he tells him everything that what happened. So basically, after he went unconscious, Hollow was in front of him, protecting him throughout the whole thing. And then after he was brought over here, Hollow stayed beside him, and she just left the day before he woke up. So Lawrence is like, oh no. So it's been an entire day that she left. So either way, so Lawrence asks him about the whole situation, what the whole deal with the king, what happened with that. And he's like, oh, everything went well. And he's like, here we go. Gives him his share, which is supposed to be like 50%. So the amount of money they were able to deal with was 350,000 coins. However, when he hands him over the document, he got 120 silver coins. That's 50% of our profit. Okay, so Lawrence is like, what? Didn't you just say that so much has been recovered? And he's like, that's all? And he's like, yeah, Okay, the main problem here is the additional costs. Delivery cost of the coins we collected, the tariffs that come with it, handling fees for the contract itself. So yeah, basically all the, when you go to eat some food or buy something, you're like, oh, it's kind of cheap, let's do it. You have your food, and then the bill comes in, and you're like, what the hell? This ain't the amount I remember seeing. And then you see all the extra, this tax, that tax, the handling fees, personnel fees, all that stuff, and it's literally the double of what you're, not double, I'm a bit exaggerating, but it's almost, something like that, it's basically that, your delivery fees, your this fee, your that fee, your handling fee, the tariffs, the taxes, the transportation cost, and all that stuff. All that stuff, if you bring that out, 120 silver coins. And he's like, what? This is a ridiculous amount of contact fees. And Richton's like, yeah, the royal family's official merchants probably gave him this idea. So basically this was their way of scamming them, I guess, in a way. Because as he says, that since he was trading off the privileges, which is always going to cost him a lot, he wanted to recoup as much of his financial losses as possible. So this was one way of doing it. So that's what the king did. So there you go. Lawrence is like, good lord. So our total profits were 2,400 silver coins. It was an unimaginably disappointing result. There you go. So yeah, unexpected things happen in businesses, and he's like, yes, and that is why exactly, because unexpected things can happen, one such thing happened in a good way. He brings in another contract or document, gives it to him, he opens it, and inside it is written, the media trading was quite desperate for this privilege. On top of that, they were collecting silver coins even though they knew the coins' value would drop. Yeah, that is the same as going into debt, which is true. So they and we can see here Yare, his hand is broken or something, so he's fine, but yeah, I doubt we'll see him again. They must have been determined to make sure that their business turned into a profit. They offered an amount we could accept on the spot, so they were desperate. That's why they were, well, like, yeah, take it, whatever. And that's why 1,000 silver coins. So this 1,000 silver coins is what Lawrence got. So I'm guessing it was way more than that, because I'm sure Richten kept a part of it with him as well. And he's like, yeah, it was a great deal for us. And he's like, you want to payment in silver coins, or do you want something in exchange? And he's like, oh, pepper, I want pepper, And he says, like, because as winter is coming, people will eat meat and stuff, and that's why pepper will be needed, this and that. So the the cost will increase. So he's stockpiling it now so that he could make a profit out of it later. And this is where he tells the story. I read the story before in the discussion in the first part of the discussion section. So basically, the whole story was about the demon who wanted like a tasty human. That whole story. And this is where he says that he's like, it's kind of funny because you were talking about Pepperell just now, so that's why I kind of told the story to you. And Lawrence is like, I do wonder if someday will come where I will be able to become someone like that, a merchant of that caliber or something like that, he says. Here we go. I would love to be laden with spices as soon as possible. So it's like, thank you for this and all that. And then in comes another letter or an invoice, and he's like, what the hell is this? So he reads it, 140 silver coins. He's like, I don't remember purchasing this product. You know what I thought for a moment? I thought that, I don't know why I thought that. I thought there would be like a box, and inside it hollow will be there. And something like that I thought. I don't know why I thought that. But he's like, wait. He immediately realized it's probably hollow, and he left. And he rushes off and goes and sees Hollows just sitting there with a cart full of apples. Obviously, 140 silver coins, that was probably that cost. Oh no, everything costed like one. Okay, so 40 silver coins was the cost of the apples, and I'm guessing the cart and the dress and everything that she was wearing, all included, was like 140 silver coins. So, he comes in and he's like, obviously he's like relieved seeing Hollow sitting there. And Hollow's like, yeah, I can't have you coming to the forest of not to collect a debt. So I've decided to stay with you for now, and yeah, like, just unless and until everything is over, I'll stay with you and help you out. And yeah, they shake their hands. And yeah, in the end, Richten says Spice and Wolf, is it? And that is where it ended. Right, and there you go. That was today's episode. Yeah, really good episode. Like I said, there you go. And that was a good conclusion, because I don't know. I'm for a moment I did think like maybe like Hollow really will be gone from here onwards, and maybe like it'll take 1 or 2 episodes for us to bring her back. But she came in by the end of this episode, and I'm glad for it. So the journey is going to continue. And yeah, for now, I guess like at least Meteor Trading Company wouldn't come after us because of the whole thing that happened. Everything is sorted out for now, at least. And yeah, so there you go. And that was today's episode. So this was episode number 6 of Spice and Wolf. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode of Spice and Wolf. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.